Hi, my name is Delancey Gustin. I'm with the Immigration and Integration Program of the German Marshall Fund of the United States, and I'm here to introduce some of the findings of Transatlantic Trends Immigration 2010, a public opinion survey that GMF has been conducting since 2008 with a number of partners: the Lyndon Harry Bradley Foundation, the Compagnie de São Paulo, the Barrow Cadbury Trust, and the Fundación BBVA. In total, we survey 8 countries, including the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Spain. In this slide, we wanted to measure whether the economic crisis may have had any effect on attitudes about immigration, specifically about labor markets. So we grouped respondents into a couple of different categories: those who claimed that their household financial situation in the past 12 months got worse, got better, or stayed the same. We grouped those whose household situation got better or stayed the same and separated them from those whose situation got worse. As you see in this slide, those whose economic situation got worse over the past 12 months are more likely to say that immigrants take jobs away from native-born workers. Though this warrants further investigation, this is some proof that the economic crisis may have had an effect on perceptions about labor market competition from immigrants. The next finding that I wanted to highlight is one in the United States. Since the law in Arizona in 2010 created a lot of national debate about whether the federal government or state and local governments should be enforcing national immigration laws or enforcing immigration laws, we decided to ask a question about who should have primary responsibility for these enforcement efforts. What we found on the whole is that Democrats favor national government jurisdiction over enforcing national immigration laws, whereas Republicans are more in favor of state and local governments having primary responsibility for this. What's interesting in this graph is that independents tend to be closer to Republicans in this opinion than they are to Democrats. Moving over to Europe, where integration was one of the most contentious topics of 2010, we asked respondents about integration of migrants and how well people think that immigrants are integrating into their society. We split respondents into 2 groups: those who were asked whether immigrants in general were integrating well, and those who were asked whether Muslim immigrants in particular were integrating well into society. As you can see in this graph, it appears that North Americans are much more positive about the integration of migrants in their societies, with the United States and Canada having big majorities saying that immigrants are integrating well in general. Also, Spain was very positive about immigrant integration. For the rest of Europe as a whole, however, there is a minority of respondents saying that immigrants are integrating well into society. And then, when asked about Muslim immigrants in particular, there are some striking differences between perceptions of immigrants in general and Muslims in terms of integration. In Germany, Muslim immigrants are perceived to be integrated much more poorly than are immigrants in general, and also in Spain there's a 33 percentage point gap between those who think that immigrants are integrating well in general and those who think that Muslims are integrating well into society. Similarly, the United States and Canada are also more negative about Muslim integration than they are about integration of immigrants in general in their societies. The last finding that I wanted to highlight is about citizenship and the most important precondition for an immigrant to become a citizen of your country. We asked this question because in some ways, becoming a citizen of the country is the way that immigrants become really part of society. And so by asking about the most important precondition, we can interpret that this means what is the most important aspect for integration into those societies. As you see in the graph, we asked about 3 different preconditions for obtaining citizenship: sharing cultural values, speaking the national language, and respecting political institutions and laws. As you can see, the Dutch comparatively think that sharing cultural values is among the most important preconditions for citizenship, with 1/3 saying that sharing cultural values is the most important precondition. Germans, on the other hand, say that knowing the national language is actually the most important precondition for citizenship, which has clearly won out over all of the other categories. For some of the other countries, including France, Spain, and Italy, it's clear that respecting political institutions and laws is the most important precondition for citizenship, which one might interpret as a more civic notion of obtaining citizenship and becoming part of society. For more about these findings and others, such as whether people think that immigration is more of a problem or opportunity for their country, how they perceive legal versus illegal immigrant groups, and how Americans view Hispanic integration into their society, please visit www.transatlantictrends.org, where you can find top-line results, the key findings report, and more. Thank you very much.